Hello everyone. Today we are going to see how to get started with circuit breaker, right? In our previous video, we have seen how the Spring Cloud components are working together, right? In that example, we have seen how Eureka servers are, registering the microservices and how the API gateway is redirecting the traffics to different microservices, and each microservices is communicating to the common database. So that we have seen. If you want to see that video, you can find that link in the description. In this session, we are going to see how the circuit breaker works. Okay, so what is circuit breaker, right? In a Spring Boot framework. Okay, so circuit breaker is like a middle layer between the microservices. So in this screenshot, you see we have this user service and order service, right? But when I want to place an any order, okay, as per the request which we have designed, so I'm going to place a particular order number for this particular user, which is nothing but for the ID of that user. So it has to go from order service to user service to fetch that user details. But what happens if the user service is down? So we will be, not able to handle that request properly, right? So let's take an example. Now I have started all the Eureka server user application, order application, and my gateway application. So when I hit that API, um, in response, we are collecting that user detail from the user service with the help of order microservices. Okay, so I have these orders. If you see my code, this order controller is located in the order service microservice component. Okay, so there we are using the Feign client. Okay, if you go inside here, we have a Feign client, which is nothing but this user service. Okay, let me refresh. So we have user service which is registered in the Eureka. By default, it will go inside this user service. We have defined there is one more controller. Okay, so by coming here, it will use this method to get that detail, right? You can see we have received 122 for Abdul Hakim. If I change that user to different, I'm getting that respective user details, right? But what happens in real-time example? Now the order service need a particular detail from the user service, but we should handle this data gracefully. What happens if my order, I mean the user service is going down, right? So let me stop this user service application because we have a dependencies, right? So that time this controller will try to look up this data and it will throw an error. Okay, let me retest that. So now the order service from here has sent a request to the user service to get the detail from the database, but the user service is down and we are getting this 500 error, which means we are losing the data, right? This is where the exactly the circuit breaker comes, right? Even though if one of the microservices is down, we have to handle it gracefully. We have to manage that data efficiently, right? um, let's see how we can implement that. Okay, to achieve that, what you need to do, you need to add this particular dependency in your Spring Boot project. So I'm gonna add this into order microservices, because order microservices is calling the user microservices, right? So let me stop these applications. Let me take the latest dependencies for this. You need to use Spring Cloud Starter, Circuit Breaker, Resilience4j dependency. Actuator is for health related information. And in application YAML, you need to define a couple of things, right? Resilience circuit breaker instance. This user service is very important because which instance you want to register it, that we have to define in the controller classes. And these are all like additional parameters, like how you want to handle it. So there are three states in circuit breaker. Okay, you have a closed, open, half open. Closed means your microservices is working properly without any issues. Open means the fallback has happened. And half open means it will try to look up whether your microservice is up and running or not. So those property details you can define in application YAML file. And this is for Actuator. We have one more dependencies here. So for that you can define to check the metrics how the application is behaving. After doing this dependency and YAML configuration, what you need to do in your controller class, you have to define this particular thing. Okay, you have to put an annotation called circuit breaker, and you name it as user service, which is here, like you have referred in the YAML file. And you need to define the fallback method, like where it should go in case of you are getting any kind of exception, where it should go. You have to put that method name. So I'm gonna create a new method here, fallback here. So by default, when it fails, it will come here. Here you can put the failure mechanism, like still if this service is failed, what should I do? Whether I should save it in data with other details, or put your some other status like this particular detail was saved and this is not saved. So something you can handle it properly. And in the params, the same parameter you have to pass order id, user id similar to this. Additionally, you have to put the exception. Okay, so return type also will be the similar, okay, like what we have. But here I'm gonna make it change. User service is down, order is placed, the order id without user details to make it convenient. Okay, just to see how this circuit breaker is going to help us. Okay, now we have put those details about the dependency changes, configuration, and how we are going to handle it, the fallback mechanism. Okay, so let me start the user application now. First we'll try the successful scenario, and then we'll try the negative scenario. Okay, now I'm trying with the order application. So now I have ran both the microservices is up and running. Let me check in Eureka. Okay, all three microservices are running properly. Now let me create a new user. Let me go to the new user, like let's say developer test. Okay, let me create a new user. For that I got id number 5. I'm gonna use this id number 5 for placing order 1000. Okay, so as you can see, now the order got placed for this particular user, and also we have got the username as per the registration, which means um, as per our microservice plan. So the input came from gateway. From order service, it called the user service, and it has got this developer test details, right? So now I want to make this application stop. Okay, let's assume this application is down in production. Okay, after that we'll try to check in Eureka instance health. Now you see user service is down. Okay, now uh, we'll try to execute this method. Now you see we are getting user services down, order is still placed without the user details, which means this controller has come here. Okay, it has thrown the application. I can show you here. Okay, it has thrown an error. Okay, why? Because this user service is not accessible with the help of this Feign client, because the application is down. So now the circuit breaker is playing the crucial role by looking up this fallback mechanism. Now the same message has appeared here. If you see, user service is down, order id, whatever the order id which we have passed, is placed without the user details. So likewise in production environment, you can save the details, right, without losing that request. So you might have n number of requests, you might have n number of microservices, but without circuit breaker, you might be losing most of the data, because one microservice In this example, we are seeing only one microservice is calling other microservices, but in production or maybe some real-time example, you might have um, n number of microservices interconnected, right? Order may call user details, user may call some history details. uh, um, Again, you want to check some kind of validations, right? So you might have different microservices, but if one of the microservices is going down, you might be losing the whole transaction as a failure. But without displaying the 500 error, you can gracefully handle that exception, and still you can perform the CRUD operation, save the detail to your database. So likewise you can achieve. And in the params, like I have mentioned, there are few details, like half open state, and what is the wait duration you can define. In the background, the circuit breaker keeps on checking if your service is up and running or not. Okay, once that is enabled, it will try to give you that API access without any issues. And also, circuit breaker does one big thing, like every time it will not go and check whether the user service is up and running or not, because it will have its own threshold. It will not keep on calling until the given these criteria details, whatever we have defined in the YAML file. So those things are the major advantages of circuit breaker. I hope this session is clear for you. If you like this coding tutorial useful, please like and share, and also subscribe to my channel. And I will be adding more Spring Boot cloud related design patterns in the upcoming sessions. Thank you. Bye.